Some places on Earth don't look impossible at first. They look quiet, remote, almost ordinary. But the closer scientists get, the harder they become to explain. A cave sealed off from the world for millions of years. A lake that shouldn't be pink. A valley where lights appear, and no one can say why. These places are real. They're on the map, and they still don't fully add up. In this video, we're looking at 5 real places that science still can't fully explain. Not myths, not hoaxes, actual locations studied by actual researchers who still don't have every answer. We'll start underground, in a world that was cut off before humans even existed. In 1986, workers in southern Romania were testing ground for a power plant when they broke into a cave no one knew existed. It was called Movile Cave, and what made it strange wasn't its size, it was how long it had been sealed. The air inside is thick with hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide, and very low in oxygen. For a human, it's toxic. To even enter, researchers descend through a narrow shaft into near total darkness. But the cave is not empty. It's full of life. Dozens of species found nowhere else on Earth. Pale, eyeless creatures that have never seen sunlight. And here's the part that's hard to grasp. This ecosystem doesn't run on sunlight at all. At its base are bacteria that pull energy straight from the chemicals in the water, a process called chemosynthesis. This world has been sealed off for around 5 million years. What researchers still debate is exactly how so many species survived and evolved in total isolation for that long. The cave gave us a glimpse of life running on different rules. But the next place is strange in a way you can see from the sky. Off the southern coast of Australia sits a small island, and on it, a lake that stops people mid-scroll. Lake Hillier is bubblegum pink. Not in a certain light, not for a season, all the time. Scoop the water into a glass and it stays pink. For a long time, the simple answer was a single microscopic algae that turns red in very salty water. And that's part of it. But when researchers actually sequenced everything living in the lake, they found something more crowded. A whole community of salt-loving microbes and bacteria, many of them producing red and pink pigments together. So the color isn't one thing, it's a cocktail. What scientists still can't fully quantify is exactly how all these organisms combine, and why this lake turns so vividly pink when other salty lakes nearby don't. The recipe is real, the exact measurements are still missing. From a lake that's too colorful, we go to a place that may be too extreme for anything to live at all. In the Afar region of Ethiopia lies one of the hottest, lowest, and most alien-looking places on the planet, the Danakil Depression. At its heart is Dalal, a field of neon yellow and green hot springs, acid pools, and salt formations. The numbers here are extreme. Some pools sit above the boiling point of water. Some are so acidic, their pH drops below 0. For years, this was treated as a perfect test site for one big question. Where exactly does life stop? Places this harsh are the closest thing on Earth to the surface of early Mars. And this is where it gets genuinely difficult. One research team studied the most extreme pools and found no trace of life at all. No DNA, nothing. They argued that some spots here are simply too hostile, even for the toughest microbes. But another team, working the same region, believed they did find signs of life. So we're left with a strange standoff. 2 groups of scientists, one landscape, and no full agreement on whether anything can survive at the edge. The next place hides its mystery in a way we can barely reach at all. Under the ice of East Antarctica, there's a lake the size of a small sea. You'd never know it was there. It sits beneath roughly 4 kilometers of solid ice, and it's stayed sealed under that ice for millions of years. It's called Lake Vostok. Complete darkness, crushing pressure, cut off from our atmosphere for hundreds of thousands of years, and from the wider world for far longer. For decades, it was just a shape on radar. Then, after years of careful drilling, researchers finally reached water that had frozen up from the lake itself. And in that ice, they found genetic traces of life. Thousands of sequences, mostly bacteria, but hints of more complex organisms too. One reported signature was so unusual it didn't clearly match anything known. Now, scientists are careful here because at those depths, even tiny contamination can confuse the results. So the question stays open. Is Lake Vostok home to an ecosystem sealed away from the rest of life on Earth, and possibly its own branch of it? We may not know for certain until we go back. The final place is different from all of these, because the mystery isn't underground or underwater, it's in the air, and it keeps coming back. In a quiet valley in central Norway, since at least the early 1980s, strange lights have appeared in the sky. Not once, not twice, hundreds of times. They hover, they pulse, they change color, sometimes drift slowly, sometimes flick across the valley in an instant. Now, plenty of places claim mysterious lights. What makes Hessdalen different is that scientists took it seriously. For years, researchers set up cameras, radar, and magnetic sensors in the valley, and the lights showed up on the instruments. Not just to the eye. They're physically real. So the debate isn't whether something is there, it's what. There are careful theories. Some point to a kind of natural plasma, glowing charged gas. One idea suggests the valley's own minerals and groundwater act almost like a giant battery. Another links the lights to radon gas in the soil. But here's the honest part. Not one of these explanations accounts for everything the lights do. Decades of data, real instruments, serious scientists, and the Hessdalen lights are still, to this day, not fully explained. What ties these 5 places together isn't magic. It's that each one sits right at the edge of what we can currently explain. A sealed cave, a pink lake, a field too harsh for life, a hidden Antarctic sea, a valley of lights. The mystery isn't that we know nothing. It's that the pieces don't quite fit yet. And maybe that's what makes them worth returning to. They're not impossible. They're real and still not fully understood. If you want to go further into the unknown, the next episode goes beneath the surface, into mysteries hidden in the ocean.